In this video, we are going to be looking at solution to 3 questions. All these questions appeared from the chapter Real Numbers. These questions were presented as part of the sample paper given by the CBSE Board for Term 1 examination, academic year 21-22. All questions, all 3 questions that we will be looking at are real numbers questions. Interesting question. In fact, the first question that we are starting in this video, 21, is a difficult question. It certainly is not a 1 mark question. It's a lovely question. Let's understand the concept and build on it. If you are looking at this question for the first time, my suggestion is you probably would have either got the answer wrong or you should have skipped this question. Let's get going. The sum of 2 numbers is 1215 and their HCF is 81. Then the possible number of pairs of such numbers is what this question is. Let's get started. Let's build this question slowly one at a time. The sum of 2 integers, sum of 2 numbers is equal to 1215. Let's say those 2 numbers are x and y. So x plus y is equal to 1215. This part we have converted it into an equation. Second part is the HCF of these 2 numbers is 81. The highest common factor of x and y is 81, which means 81 is a factor of x, which means that x is a multiple of 81. If 81 is a factor of x, x will be a multiple of 81. So we can write x as 81 times something, we'll call it as 81a. The HCF of x and y is 81, which means that 81 is a factor of y, which means y is a multiple of 81. So we can write y as 81b. So 81a plus 81b is equal to 1215. Just decoding this itself is quite difficult. This is just the beginning. There are a few more steps to go before we can get the answer. So take 81 common outside. So 81 times a plus b is equal to 1215. That makes a plus b to be equal to 1215 divided by 81, which is equal to 15. 81 times 10 is 810. 81 times 5 is 405. Together it will make 1215. This part is done. So this took a while, but we got the answer. Next step is what kind of a number will a and b be? First and foremost, we know these are positive integers. For x and y are positive integers, and essentially 81 times a positive integer plus 81 times a positive integer is what is going to give us 1215. So step 1, let's just say that a and b are positive integers, right? Good, but this is not enough, right? See, look at it. What do we mean by HCF? HCF is the highest common factor. That's the largest number which is a factor which is common to both these numbers x and y. So the HCF would take everything that's common between x and y. That's what HCF is all about. So what it leaves behind cannot have anything in common. If a and b had something in common, that would actually be a part of your HCF. It cannot be outside the HCF. The definition of highest common factors, it's the largest factor which is common to both these numbers. So anything common between these 2 numbers has been contained in the HCF. So whatever is left, which is a and b, cannot have anything in common. If a and b cannot have any factor in common, then essentially we can represent it 2 ways. A and b are basically co-prime numbers. They have nothing in common. Or what would that essentially mean that is that HCF of a and b is equal to a 1. So now we need to basically pick such values of a and b where a plus b is equal to a 15, a and b are positive integers, and that both these numbers are co-prime to each other. Let's list it down. That's the only way to go beyond this. So we are going to pick values of a and b. We'll start and listing them down. Initially, we'll find out that they are positive integers and the sum is 15, and then let's reiterate it and figure out in which all cases is a HCF 1. So 114 is a possibility, both are positive integers, sum is equal to 15, 213, this is not too difficult, 3, 12, 4, 11, 5, 10, I'll write few more here, which is 6, 9, 7, 8, 8, 7, 9, 6, you don't need to write for the simple reason, this question is not asking us for ordered pairs of numbers, it's just asking us for pairs of numbers. So these are the 7 different values. Go back to the answer option. Thankfully, they have not given 7 as one of the answer options, so you're not likely to get it. You'll be wondering what went wrong, did I do something wrong? You did not do anything wrong, you haven't got the answer yet at this point. So we have found out a and b being positive integers such that their sum is equal to 15, 7 sets are possible, 7 pairs are possible. Now we need to pick only those pairs where their HCF is a 1. That's the next step that we're going to be doing. 1 and 14, HCF is equal to 1. So we'll basically pick this. 2 and 13, both are prime numbers. So HCF is 1. 3 and 12, 12 is 3 times 4. So the HCF in this case is a 3. So you're not going to take this. So HCF is not 1. This pair is now eliminated. 4 and 11, 11 is a prime number. 4 does not have anything common to 11. So this basically co-prime will take it. 5 and 10, 10 is 2 times 5. So the HCF is a 5. This will not work. 6 and 9, 2 times 3, 3 times 3, HCF is 3, therefore this will not work. 7 and 8, consecutive positive integers. Note this, anytime any two consecutive positive integers, they will be co-prime to each other, their HCF will always be 1, so this will work. So of the 7 that we saw initially, how many will not work? 6, 9, 5, 10 and 3, 12 will not work. So how many pairs of values will work? 4 pairs of values will work. So our answer option going back is basically C is the correct answer to the question. Quickly run you through this idea, right? I'll run through all these steps. Sum of two numbers is equal to 1215. We took those numbers as x and y. 81 is a HCF, so x can be written as 81a, y can be written as 81b. So you found out a plus b to be equal to f15, right? Good. Now what kind of numbers will a and b be? They will be positive integers to start with, otherwise the sum cannot be a 1215. Next, we know that what is the definition of HCF? HCF means highest common factor, which means that would have picked everything common between x and y. 81 is the highest common factor. There is nothing common other than 81 between x and y. So whatever is left, which is this a and b, cannot have anything in common, which means that the HCF of those two numbers is 1, or those numbers are co-prime numbers. So we are going to list down values of a and b such that they are positive integers adding up to a 15, because this is what the equation left is, and then subsequently we will run through all of those sets of values and pick only those which are co-prime, which have a HCF of 1, which is what we did in this step, and got 4 pairs of values, right? Ruminate about this question. When you go and if you sign up for Max Tute's online course, we got tests, we got like 5 tests for real numbers alone at this point in time. Couple of questions have basically modified this concept a little bit and given it to you. There are questions of this kind to practice, and there are modified versions of this to practice. So if such a question were to appear in the real board examination, you should not have any problem cracking it. So more to the next question. The LCM of two prime numbers p and q, the numbers are both are prime numbers p and q, p is greater than q is said, their LCM is 221. This is very, very important. We will see where it is going to come into use. Find the value of 3p minus q. We will come to that in a while, right? The two numbers are prime numbers. If two numbers are prime numbers, they will have no factor in common. What's the definition of a prime number? It's got 1 and itself as a factor. So p will have 1 and p as factor, q will have 1 and q as factor. So only common factor is essentially 1. The HCF of p and q, therefore, HCF of p and q is equal to 1. We know this result that product of two numbers is equal to the product of the LCM and HCF of those two numbers. So p times q will be equal to the LCM of pq times the HCF of pq. We know the HCF of pq is equal to 1. LCM of pq is a 221 given in the question. So the product of these two numbers, these two prime numbers, is equal to a 221. Product of two prime numbers is 221. Just quickly run through it. What would make that happen? 17 into 13 is what will make it happen. They have essentially said that p is greater than q, which means that p is equal to 17 and q is equal to 13, right? This is basically figuring out from the tables. If you know p is equal to 17, q is equal to 13, then this becomes child's play. 3 times p is 3 times 17 minus a q, which is a 13. 51 minus 13, 38 is the answer to the question. What answer option satisfies it? C is the correct answer to this question, right? Last question. The smallest number for this video, the smallest number by which 1 by 13 should be multiplied so that its decimal expansion terminates after 2 decimal places, right? Essentially they are saying, hey, 1 by 13, let's say the smallest number with which we are multiplying it is equal to x, should terminate in 2 decimal places. We can go from the answer options, which is one way of solving it, but let's not do it. We can solve it faster without even using answer options, right? Because in answer options, you'll have to try all 4, check out whether it terminates in 2 decimal places, and then pick the smallest one. That's quite iterative. Let's not even do that. Let's do it differently. What's the smallest decimal that terminates after 2 decimal places? 0.00 would not have terminated, right? 0.00 is 0, right? So 0.01 is the smallest decimal that terminates after 2 decimal places. Are you convinced about it? 0.02 is greater than 0.01, right? So 0.011 it terminates in 3 decimal places. So 0.01 is the smallest decimal that terminates after 2 decimal places. What's the fractional equivalent of this? The fractional equivalent of this is equal to 1 by 100. Now what we want is, if we can get 1 by 13 into x to be equal to 1 by 100, that's the least value that x can take, because the final answer is the smallest 2-digit terminating decimal you got. Let's see whether that's an answer option and figure that out from there, right? So 1 by 13 times x should give us the smallest 2-digit terminating decimal, which is 1 by 100. So cross multiply to find the value of x. So x is equal to 13 divided by 100. Do we have such an answer option here? Yes, answer option A is 13 by 100. So this is the quickest way to arrive at the answer. Alternatively, you could have substituted each of these values and figured it out. The only suggestion is 10 by 13 versus 13 by 100, right? This number, check out which is 13 by 10 is definitely greater than 1. 100 by 13 is also greater than 1. So these two are large numbers. 10 by 13 and 13 by 100 are the two smaller numbers. So I wouldn't even probably substitute C and D if I'm going from answer options. B and D, I'll substitute A and C and check out. I'll check out whether C gives us the answer, which is a 2-digit number. It wouldn't. For example, 1 by 13 times 10 by 13, this is equal to 10 by 169, which is 1 by 16.9. That to start with is not terminating, therefore you can rule it out, right? 1 by 169 or 10 by 169, the decimal, the denominator is 13 square, it's not a 2 times 5, so you can eliminate that way and get to the answer. So going from answer options is also possible, just that don't bother about answer options B and D, because those numbers are bigger, larger values than A and C. C you can eliminate because it's not going to end in a terminating decimal. That would leave you with A as the answer if you went using answer options. Before you leave, I want you to do two things. One, sign up at online.maxtute.com to get started with CBSE Class 10 Math online tuitions. It takes all of 5 minutes and less than 3 steps to get started. And second thing, I want you to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so that you get notified every time a new video is uploaded. Spread the word about this channel to your friends and classmates.